Is Russia, with its recent actions, threatening global peace? A question that has been echoing around the globe, stirring up debates and raising eyebrows. Russia, the world's largest country, has been making some significant moves on the global stage. Its actions, at times, have been bold and audacious, causing ripples that are felt far beyond its borders. This, in turn, has led many to question the impact of these actions on global peace. So, let's delve into the chronology of Russia's actions that have led us to ask this question. Our journey begins in 2014 with the annexation of Crimea. This strategic peninsula jutting out into the Black Sea was once a part of Ukraine. However, in a move that shocked the international community, Russia declared Crimea to be a part of its territory in March of that year. This wasn't a sudden, impulsive decision. The annexation was preceded by a period of increased tension and political unrest. Ukraine had been grappling with internal strife, fueled by divisions between those favoring closer ties with the European Union and those leaning towards Russia. Moscow seized upon this instability, deploying troops and staging a controversial referendum in Crimea. The vote, widely criticized for its lack of impartiality, showed an overwhelming majority in favor of joining Russia. The world watched in disbelief as Russia, a member of the United Nations Security Council, brazenly violated the principles of sovereignty and territorial integrity. The United Nations General Assembly responded with a resolution, declaring the referendum invalid and affirming Ukraine's sovereignty over Crimea. But the words on paper did little to change the reality on the ground. In the wake of the annexation, the world braced itself for the fallout. Countries around the globe imposed sanctions on Russia, hoping to pressure it into reversing its course. But the Kremlin remained defiant, shrugging off the economic penalties and consolidating its hold on Crimea. The annexation sent shockwaves through the international community, marking a significant shift in the global order. It was a blatant display of Russia's willingness to flout international law to further its own interests. The repercussions of this act are still felt today, with heightened tensions between Russia and the West, and a lingering sense of unease about what the future might hold. The annexation of Crimea was more than just a territorial dispute. It was a statement, a demonstration of Russia's resolve to challenge the status quo, regardless of the consequences. The annexation of Crimea was just the beginning. Digital space, the new battlefield, saw Russia as one of its most active players. In the shadows of the virtual world, Russia has been making waves. From the dark corners of the internet to the bright lights of social media, the nation has been implicated in a number of cyber warfare incidents. These actions range from high-profile hacking incidents to widespread misinformation campaigns. Let's consider the hacking incidents first. In the past decade, Russia has been linked to several major cyber attacks. The targets? Anything from foreign governments to multinational corporations. The objective? To sow discord, disrupt operations, or steal sensitive information. The impact of these attacks is often immense, with the potential to destabilize economies and compromise national security. Then there are the misinformation campaigns. These operations are often more insidious, subtly influencing public opinion to serve Russia's interests. Through the spread of false stories and conspiracy theories, the nation has been accused of manipulating elections, driving political unrest, and eroding trust in democratic institutions. The implications of Russia's involvement in cyber warfare are far-reaching. On a global level, these actions threaten the security and stability of nations. They have the potential to disrupt international relations, compromise sensitive information, and even instigate conflict. On a more personal level, these actions undermine the very foundations of democracy. By sowing doubt and division, they erode trust in institutions and leaders. The end result? A society that is more divided, more cynical, and less able to effectively address the challenges it faces. This isn't just about Russia, though. It's about the changing face of warfare in the digital age. Cyber attacks and misinformation campaigns are becoming increasingly common tools of statecraft, used by nations to advance their interests and assert their power. The cyber realm, a seemingly invisible front, carries significant real-world consequences. As we move forward in this digital age, it's vital that we remain vigilant, fostering resilience against these new forms of aggression, and promoting a digital world that is secure, trustworthy, and beneficial for all. 2015 saw Russia taking a more direct role in global conflicts as seen in Syria. The Syrian civil war, a conflict already steeped in complexity, became even more so with Russia's involvement. But why did Russia intervene? The answer lies in Russia's strategic motivations, which are twofold: maintaining its naval base in Tartus and propping up the Assad regime, its only ally in the region. Russia's involvement, however, wasn't without a human cost. The intensity of the conflict escalated, and with it, the number of civilian casualties. Airstrikes, allegedly carried out by Russian forces, often targeted civilian areas, causing a tragic loss of innocent lives. Hospitals, schools, and residential areas bore the brunt of these attacks, pushing the death toll higher. The United Nations and various human rights organizations condemned these attacks, but they continued unabated. This intervention had implications that reverberated far beyond Syria's borders. The war triggered one of the largest refugee crises in recent history, with millions of Syrians forced to flee their homes. Europe felt the brunt of this exodus, with countries struggling to accommodate the influx of refugees. The crisis strained diplomatic relations and stoked the flames of xenophobia and political instability in many European nations. Beyond the immediate human cost, Russia's involvement in Syria has far-reaching geopolitical implications. It has strengthened Russia's foothold in the Middle East, increased its influence over the region, and challenged the dominance of Western powers. This shift in power dynamics has raised concerns about the future of global politics and international relations. But it's not just about power politics, it's about the lives that have been torn apart, the homes that have been destroyed, and the futures that have been stolen. It's about the children who've lost their parents, and the parents who've lost their children. It's about the human cost of war, a cost that is far too high. Russia's actions in Syria have had far-reaching impacts beyond just the battlefield. Fast forward to 2020, and Russia's actions continue to cause concern, as seen in the Navalny Poisoning. This alarming event unfolded when Alexei Navalny, a prominent opposition leader and vocal critic of the Russian government, fell critically ill on a flight from Siberia to Moscow. A German hospital, where Navalny was later airlifted, found traces of a military-grade nerve agent in his system, a chilling echo of past poisonings linked to Russian intelligence. This incident sparked international outrage. Leaders from around the globe condemned the attack, demanding transparency and justice. It was a stark reminder that political dissent is a dangerous game in Russia. Navalny's poisoning was not just an attack on a single individual, but a blatant assault on the very principle of democracy. It sent a chilling message to anyone daring to challenge the status quo. But Navalny's courage in the face of such adversity is nothing short of inspirational. Despite the threat to his life, he continues to speak out against corruption and the erosion of democratic values in his homeland. His resolve has sparked a renewed vigor in the fight for democracy in Russia and beyond. The Navalny incident is a sobering reminder of the lengths to which Russia will go to suppress opposition. It underscores the urgent need for the international community to take a stand against such brazen disregard for human rights and democratic principles. So, what does this all mean for global peace? Let's take a moment to revisit the key points we've discussed. They all point to a pattern of actions that Russia has taken and continues to take that pose a potential threat to global peace and security. Let's start with the annexation of Crimea, a bold and blatant act of aggression that violated the sovereignty of Ukraine. It was a move that shook the world, showing Russia's willingness to disregard international law for its own strategic interests. Then, we delved into the realm of cyber warfare. Russia has been implicated in numerous cyber attacks, many of which have had far-reaching implications, affecting everything from elections to critical infrastructure. These actions have not only caused disruption and chaos, but have also raised questions about the integrity of our digital landscapes. We also discussed Russia's intervention in Syria, an action that has further destabilized an already volatile region. This intervention has resulted in a humanitarian crisis, with countless lives lost and millions displaced. It's another example of Russia prioritizing its geopolitical agenda over the welfare of innocent people. And let's not forget the Navalny poisoning. This incident sent shockwaves around the world, representing a stark reminder of the lengths Russia may go to silence opposition. It's a blatant disregard for human rights and a chilling demonstration of the dangers of political dissent in Russia. These actions, taken together, paint a picture of a nation driven by a quest for power and influence, seemingly at any cost. They have led to instability, fostered mistrust, and created tensions that ripple across the globe. From the annexation of Crimea to the cyber attacks to the intervention in Syria and the poisoning of Navalny, we see a Russia that appears to prioritize power over peace, control over cooperation and self-interest over global stability. As we examine Russia's actions on the global stage, one thing is clear: the pursuit of power often comes at a cost to peace.